Okay, welcome back, Bio. This is Mr. B, and we're continuing on with Meiosis Part 2. We went over all the stages of Meiosis 1 in our last video, and today in this video we're going to take a look at the steps of Meiosis 2. So in Meiosis 2, we start with our beginning step is the two cells that are produced by Meiosis 1 now enter a second meiotic division, and meiotic means just through the process of meiosis. And unlike Meiosis 1, neither cell goes through chromosome replication. So remember, we started with interphase 1 where the chromosome replication occurred in Meiosis 1. We're not going to do that in Meiosis 2, and because of this, each of the cell's chromosomes have two chromatids. So we still have two chromatids, and then this is what we're going to get by the end of Meiosis 2. So this is where we ended last time with telophase 1 and cytokinesis 1, and now we're going to look at prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2, telophase 2, and cytokinesis. And as you can see, our result is going to be 4 cells instead of 2, like mitosis. So to start, Meiosis 1 results in 2 haploid daughter cells, each with half the number of chromosomes as the original cell. So if you remember, we're using fruit flies as our example. And remember, it was 2n equals 8. So in a normal fruit fly cell, we would have 2 more chromosomes in each one of these in order to have a total of 8 in each one. But now we have haploid, so we have half that number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 chromatids, or just 2 chromosomes. So that's our first step here. We have we have 2 haploid cells, haploid being the key word there. And then our first step, so that's prophase, and prophase 2, that's pretty much all they give us there. That's just kind of the fact that now it's just our result from my Meiosis 1 just goes right into Meiosis 2. And so then in metaphase 2, our chromosomes are going to line up in the center of the cell. So as you can see here, we have them, they're all lined up in the center, and those spindle fibers have attached as well. And the sister chromatids separate and move towards opposite ends of the cell. So in anaphase 2, again, this is really similar to what happens in mitosis. They get pulled apart and move to opposite ends of the cell. And then at the end, Meiosis 2, we can see we have new nuclear envelopes forming, and you can see that we have 4 distinct cells. The cytoplasm has been pinched in half, and now we have 4 haploid daughter cells. So that's it for meiosis. That is, remember, it's 2 stages of division, and meiosis 2, basically the exact same things that happen in mitosis happen in meiosis 2. But except, again, our end result being that we have 4 haploid daughter cells instead of just 2. And so now we're going to finish this one up by looking at gamete formation, so exactly how our sex cells are formed. So in male animals, meiosis results in 4 equal-sized gametes called sperm. So we can see we have the breakdown here. Again, meiosis 1, it starts with a 2n cell, and then it gives us, after meiosis 1, we have 2 haploid cells, and then after meiosis 2, we have 4 haploid cells, and in males, all 4 of those turn into sperm. And then that's important because in females, only 1 egg results from meiosis, and the other 3 cells are called polar bodies, and they're usually not involved in reproduction. So you can see we have the same steps for our first 2 here. You can see this one's a little bit smaller and forms a polar body, and this one forms another polar body, and only 1 of these goes on to actually become an egg. So in females, they don't have nearly as many gametes as males do, and that's because after meiosis, only one of the 4 actually goes on to become an actual egg that will be involved in reproduction. And then our final point to kind of end this section is going to be, how is meiosis different from mitosis? And the main difference is that mitosis results in the production of 2 genetically identical diploid cells. So in mitosis, we start with 1 cell, and it gives us 2 cells that were identical to what we started with. And in meiosis, we produce 4 genetically different haploid cells. So in meiosis, all 4 of the cells that we end up with are different from the one that we began with, and that's our main difference there. And then just some more difference, more comparing them. Cells produced by mitosis have the same number of chromosomes and alleles as the original cell. Again, they're genetically identical. We mentioned that. And mitosis allows an organism to grow and replace cells. So again, in our workbook one day, it mentioned getting a cut and how it stimulates the growth of cells until the cut is healed. And that's again how it replaces. And then some organisms can reproduce asexually by mitosis. So they literally just make a genetic copy of themselves, they reproduce, and voila, mitosis has made a new organism. So those are our main points in mitosis. And then now we have some points from meiosis that are going to differ from that. In meiosis, cells produced by meiosis have half the number of chromosomes as the parent cell. Again, we mentioned that going from diploid to haploid. And these cells are genetically different from the diploid cell and from each other. Again, so even if we can't forget that the fact that they're different from the parent, but they're also different from each other. None of the 4 cells that are created are identical. And meiosis is how sexually reproducing organisms produce gametes. So that is why how humans and how all the other animals pretty much in the animal kingdom reproduce. So that is it for section 4. Let me know if you have any questions.